In this video, I will show you how to use Google's new Gemini Pro preview to create an n8n workflow. So we will start with asking Gemini to create the n8n workflow. I'm using this prompt that I actually generated via ChatGPT. So here you can see I'm saying create a complete n8n workflow in JSON. It should run daily with schedule trigger, read an RSS feed from URL, and here you can see the URL that I'm giving it, limit the result to 10, append the item to Google Sheet. So the idea here is that I'm creating content in YouTube and I want to know what are the contents that are most hyped in YouTube. That's why I want to run this workflow in YouTube daily so that I can see what are then the n8n or tech or AI related content that gets most views. And you might ask, why am I using Google's RSS feed instead of using Google's API or YouTube's API? So the reason is that this RSS feed is totally for free. You don't need to use any API key, and it does the job because from here you can get the most hyped videos also from YouTube. Let's now go ahead and run. We can give a couple of seconds to Gemini to give us the whole code. And also, if you don't know, this model is totally for free. It was released about a week ago, and it is super powerful to create different type of applications that are powered by generative AI. And here you can see that it is giving us a prompt in JSON. And it even explains what we need to do. So you can see that it involves schedule trigger, and then it involves Google Sheet node. Okay, so from here, we will basically just download this JSON workflow by clicking on download button. And then we will go to n8n. So we will log in into n8n. You can see that I'm running n8n locally. If you are interested and want to know how to run n8n locally totally for free, I have another video about this that I will link down below. But right now, what we will do, we will create a new workflow. And then from here, we will click on those three dots and we will choose import from file. And then we will scroll down, we will get that file that we have just uploaded from Google Studio. We will make sure that it is the right file, and then we will click on open. Okay, and now we can see the workflow. We can see that the first one is schedule trigger. The second one, it says that it's RSS feed read. However, the node wasn't actually created. Then we have limit to 10, and then we have Google Sheets, and then we have set columns, and we will then go and choose RSS feed. We will click on plus button, and from here we will search for RSS read. And then in here we will use the RSS link that we already sent to Google AI Studio. So we'll come back to Google AI Studio, and from here we will get that link. Just copy this one, and going back here, we can pass this one, and this link also can be updated. For example, you can see that here I'm saying that it needs to look for keywords in YouTube that are n8n, and then IE tools or software. Then I'm also using the location US. For example, if you are located in another country and you want to know what are then the most viewed YouTube videos in your country, so then you will update US to your country. For Sweden, it will be, for example, SE. And then also you can even update the language. But in this case, we are just keeping this as it is. And let's try and see if this works. If I click on execute setup, we can see that it doesn't work. And the reason that it doesn't work, because there is another node before this node that is not working. That is called also set columns. If I come out of this, we can see that, yes, it was automatically connected to these set columns, but we don't want to connect it there. So let's just double click on this one and test again, see if this will work. And we can see that this worked. And here on the right side, we can see the output title. You can see that, for example, the first one was viral infographic with Nano Pro and n8n free workflow YouTube. And then if we go to the right side, you can see that it was published today. You can see even the content. And if we do a quick test, copy this one and we go to YouTube and try to search this, the name of this YouTube video that we got as published today and most viewed. So this is the video, and we can see that it was published 13 hours ago, and it has 495 views. We go back to n8n. Now we know that RSS read is working. So we'll come out of this and we will just delete this question mark and we will put RSS read in here. Then we will connect the schedule trigger. After that, we have limit to 10. So here the idea is, for example, we got 19 different results and we just want to watch most watched 10 videos. So we want to limit it to 10. That's why we use this node that is called limit to 10. And if we double click on this, you can see that max items is 10 and it also says keeps first item. So this was also totally correct, configured by Gemini. Then we can see even that was connected to Google Sheet. If we double click on Google Sheet, here we obviously need to connect this to Google Sheet. So we need to first go to Google Drive and create a Google Sheet, and that's something that I have already done. And now we need to connect this Google Sheet to our document. So we will click on Choose. And from here, we will choose the document that we already created in Google Drive. And for me, the name of the document is Gemini 3.0. So we'll choose that one. And then the sheet is basically the first tab in the Google Sheet. So in here, you can see that I have only sheet 1. So that is what we will choose. Okay, good. And then we have title, link, and basically we have all the output names that comes from limit to 10. And in order to do the mapping now, we will click on execute previous node. You can see that there is a problem. Okay, so what we will do, we will come out of this. We will save this workflow. And here you can see the limit to 10 didn't work because it wasn't connected to RSS feed. So now after we connected that one, if we go to Google Sheet, I double click on that. Let's try to execute previous node one more time. And here you can see that it worked. So now we need to do the mapping. From here, we need to drag and drop it in here in this title. And then link, the same thing. We need to drag and drop in here. And then pub date, which is published date. We need to drag and drop in here. Then we have content. We do exactly the same thing with content. Then we have content snippet. Same in here. And then we have ISO date, that is the date in ISO format. Okay, so that sounds good. And let's try to execute this step. Yeah, so you can see that we have even an output. And let's try to click on this link. And we can see that it is leading us to YouTube. So we are basically landing on the YouTube video. And from here, we can just watch the YouTube video that was published during the last day and got the most top views. Great. So now if I come back to n8n, we can come out of this, delete this set column because we don't need this. We have a workflow that was working. And if we try to reflect what Google Gemini Pro did, it created schedule trigger, created limit to 10, and also Google Sheets. So set columns wasn't needed in this case. We can delete that. And RSS read wasn't created either. So we need to choose this RSS read on our own. So I will rate this maybe 80% accurate, and this definitely made the process a lot quicker for us, but we can't say that we can use Google's new model to create n8n without any manual updates. At least when we are giving this shorter prompt, we ask ChatGPT to create more detailed prompt. In that case, maybe n8n flow can be better. But yes, that was it, and if you like, I can send this n8n workflow totally for free. Just comment n8n down below and like this video. Have a good evening. Bye.